Good evening, guys. It's good to see you. Kindly let me know if the sound is all right. Where you're watching us from. Good evening. Good evening. I want to apologize for the smaller challenge with our guest. Yeah. So, but in the meantime, please tell me where you're watching us from. It's a good evening. It's good to see you guys. Tonight, we look at a very fantastic, interesting topic. We are discussing, of course, how to prepare for a job interview. Please let me know if my sound is okay before I bring in Mr. Kangwa on the live. Please let me know if my sound is all right. Let me know if my sound is okay before I bring on Mr. Kangwa. He's already in the waiting room. Tell me, please, how is my sound? Is my sound all right? Good evening, guys. How are you? How has been your week? Tell me how my sound is. I'll be happy to hear from you. Please share the video also with others so they too may be able to join us. We're discussing how to prepare for a job interview. And we have a human resource practitioner, Mr. Kangwa Nshindano, who's been in resource for a number of years and is here to share with us tips. So guys, please, I'm kind of asking, how is my sound? Let me see some comments. How is my sound? Sound is all right, good. So, okay, so there we go. The sound is good, okay. Okay, IK Lukena says sound is good, all right, fantastic. Sylvester, all right, sound is good, okay, good. Can hear you clearly, fantastic. So, how has been your week, guys? How has been your week? Please share the video. I'm bringing on Mr. Kangwa Nshindano to come and discuss with us a few things that we need to look for as we are preparing for the job interview. So, all right. So, okay. So there we go. So I'm now bringing on Mr. Kangwa. Okay. All right. There we go. So we have Mr. Kangwa. Mr. Kangwa, good evening and welcome to the program. You're live.
I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very much loud and clear.
Hello, hi everyone.
Oh yeah, it's good to have you, Mr. Kangwa. I'm not sure, we can't see your video. All right, okay, good. There we go. That's Mr. Kangwa. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I don't know. The internet has been quite bad. Probably where I'm actually living, staying. I don't know if you're able to hear me.
Yes, we can hear you very loud and clear.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
So how
when
are
we
you,
talk
sir?
about the hello.
How are you? All right. I understand
Hello.
that.
Yes, Mr. Lusambo.
Yes, I was greeting you. Are you okay?
Hello. Yes, Mr. Lusambo.
Yes, I can hear you. Looks like we're having a connection problem, but I can hear you very, very loud and clear, and we are live, and we have people following. They are able to hear you loud and clear. So the topic we are looking at this evening, Mr. Kangwa, is of course how to prepare for a job interview. And we are privileged to have you because you've been a human resource for quite a number of years, and you interview people, you sit on those meetings, interview panels to interview people. So it looks like we're having a problem, guys, with Mr. Kangwa's network, partly because he told me, I'm not sure where he is at the moment, so we're having a connection problem. I really hope that the problem is resolved. Yeah, but he's going to get back soon, so I'm sure he's just trying to use other means of connecting. So I think I'll get the ball rolling, guys. You see, usually when I've also been able to sit on interview panels, but I'm not a human resource expert. I've served on different positions as an employee as well, and also in my own company. So I've been able to have an opportunity to interview people and to see what people answer and what we look for. So I'm not a human resource, expert like Mr. Kangwa, who's going to come through, but I also know what we look for. Yeah, Mr. Kangwa is back. Let's bring him back. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yes, sir, you're back. Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I was just trying to tell our viewers that Mr. Kangwa is a human resource practitioner for a number of years. And I was just trying to tell them that it's a bit of a challenge with the network, but I'm so happy that you acted back. So we want to get the ball in, Mr. Kangwa. It's so good to have you, partly because I have been on interview panels as well, but I'm not a human resource practitioner like yourself. You are an expert in this. We have seen how people fail to answer simple questions on those interview panel. So actually, we have a comment that Mr. Kangwa, we're able to hear you. We're able to hear you. Okay, people are able to hear you. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So people fail to answer simple questions in those interview panels. People go for interviews and then they can't answer questions. So we want to get from you, Mr. Kangwa. Just let's start from the beginning. How to prepare for an interview. First of all, why is it important for somebody who wants to get a job to prepare for an interview? Let's start with that first. You are muted. Are you able to unmute? I can't hear you.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Lusambo. Yes. What was your question?
So what we're saying that I want to start from the beginning. Why is it so important for somebody who wants to get a job to first or be prepared for an interview? Why is preparation so important? Before we even get the interview, just from preparation from home. Yes.
Preparation is something that is actually very, very important to somebody who's going to attend the interviews. Practice and preparation helps clear the brain, because before you are interviewed, the brain needs just to be clear and have a conscious of it, that whatever that I'm going to be interviewed with, it's something that I'll be ready with. Can you imagine a situation whereby somebody is missing out certain things? Even when I talk about football, if the players are not adequately prepared, meaning they will miss out certain things. So all in all, it's all about to clear the brain as a person is going to attend the interviews. Yeah, let's be real self-thought, so you can engage more in a natural conversation in an interview, more like a hot seat, the biggest savant. Remember that each step before your interview can make a huge difference in giving your best interview. That is quite very, very important and hopeful.
Indeed. All right. Okay, so now talking of preparation, you say it's important to clear your brain for someone who's going for an interview, but also it's just like a football team. If you're not prepared, there's a higher chance that you're going to lose that match. So the question I want to ask you is, as part of preparation, Mr. Kangwa, what should somebody do as part of preparation? What should somebody do as they prepare for an interview? All right, looks like we're having a challenge. That's unfortunate. We have a challenge with the network. So, of course, Mr. Kangwa was talking about being able to be ready to clear your brain. Just like the way footballers do before they go for a particular match, they have to prepare their brains. But here's the issue. Why is this talking about preparation as an important component? Partly because when you want to prepare for this interview, for example, Mr. Kangwa says, be able to prepare so that you clear your brain. There are some things that you may not be able to know about your company. And Mr. Kangwa is back. So, Mr. Kangwa, I was asking a question. As part of preparation for someone going for an interview, what are some of the specific things that they can look for, they can look out for before they go into that room? Are there some specific things you can advise somebody to look out for before entering that interview?
Hello?
Yes, yes. It's fine. You can close your video. If the network is so bad, we can get your audio. It's all right.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You may please go ahead. So I was asking a question that as part of preparation, what should somebody look out for as they are going for this interview? What should they have in mind as part of preparation?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Lusambo. Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead. What was the question again?
So we're having a challenge. Your network is cutting quite a lot. I'm not sure if you can try and change your connection and use something else. In the meantime, we are unable to. Yeah, we have a problem. Yeah, you are logging in and out. Are you able to change the connection? All right, so I'll take it up from here. So I'm sure it's changing the connection. So what he's trying to say here, guys, is this: when he says you have to prepare your brain for that interview, yes, the mistake people make. When you're going for an interview, you have to understand you're going to meet real people, people who are thinking, people who are qualified, people who know exactly what they are looking for. So, as part of preparation for a particular interview, first of all, find out about this company you're going to do interviews with. Find out what are their projects currently, what are they doing. Find out when they were established. Find out who is the CEO. Find out who's the director. Find out what their culture is, what they tolerate, what they don't tolerate. You can do all those kind of stuff by going to their website. You can find that. But also, if you know somebody in the company to a recommendation, you can ask them what is the culture in this company, so that you know exactly what this company is about before even starting about what to answer. First, know the company, their business, their culture. Mr. Kangwa is back. I hope this time that we have no problem. All right, Mr. Kangwa, you're back. I'm hoping that the connection will be okay this time. So we are following you on. You are muted. Are you able to unmute? You are muted. Okay, now you're back.
Hello? Yes. You can hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes, we can hear you. So my question to you, Mr.
Yeah,
Kangwa, is
I'm
that
hoping
as part of preparation for somebody who's going for an interview, what some of the things as a human resource professional do you advise somebody to look out for about a company? What should they know about a company?
Okay, let me just probably explain a few things. You see, when it comes to preparation for job interview, there are steps which usually help for a job interview.
Yes.
One of the things that I usually look at is know who you are. Because when you're going for interviews, you need to know who you are. When it comes to job interviews, it's important.
Oh, yeah. All right. All right. I apologize for that. Looks like we have a serious connection with Mr. Kangwa. All right. So it's talking about knowing who you are. I'm going to leave that thought. I'll continue with my thought. Like we were saying earlier, that when you're going for an interview, find out more about the company you're going to do interviews with. Find out about their culture. Don't be shy. If somebody calls you to go for an interview, the same person is your key person that you can communicate with. Ask them. Of course, question that you want to ask them. If they say come at 9 hours, ask them, how many people are going to be on the panel? Do they know? Because the person calling you is your only link between you and the company. So feel free to ask them a few questions. For example, you can ask them about, how many people are going to interview you, what will be the panel like. They can tell you that information. It's not a secret. They'll tell you a panel of 5 directors or 4 directors and things like that. But of course, you can also go to their website, read more about what this company does, know who the CEO is, know who the directors are. find out about what the projects are, find out about their corporate social responsibility, what do they value the most, what do they like, find out about this particular company. So when you go into that interview, you're not surprised. But again, there's a part that Mr. Kangwa was talking about, that you have to know who you are. There's a serious problem with most people. I've been on interview panels before. I've interviewed a number of people, hundreds of people. And every single time you ask somebody, tell me about yourself, it's like everybody don't know who they are. When somebody's asking to tell them about yourself in an interview, from my experience, I see people tell me, I was interviewing some people from trauma some time back. It was a phone interview, and this person had a chance, because if you're interviewing on phone, you have an opportunity to even you can even use Google. This person asked, tell me about yourself. The gentleman couldn't say anything about himself. What he said was, I'm the second born in the family of 5. There are 3 girls, 2 boys. That is the information more often than not people give in the interviews. They tell you about about their family. They tell you where they grew up from. They tell you where they did their primary school. The interviewers are bored by such information. They don't care whether they went to primary school at whatever school. Nobody cares in that room. If you tell your interviewer that you went to UNZA, you did. Tell me about yourself. What they want to know is the professional aspects of you. If they ask you, Princess, can you tell me about yourself? You have to tell them the professional aspect. Of course, if you are married, it's important. You can say, my name is Princess Lusambo Kaoma. I am Nelson Mukuka. Of course, I'm a husband of 1 wife, and I have a kid, or I have 2 kids. I'm a chartered accountant. I did ABC. You tell them what you've done professionally. That is what the interviewer wants to know when they say, tell me about yourself. They don't want to know about your dad. They don't want to know about your mom. They don't want to know about your cousin, where you grew up, the best school. So people in interviews, they just put you off. They come with a whole list of things they've been through, and then they explain. Then you're just surprised. Is this person ready? But now here is the point. Mr. Gang was trying to bring to us, to our mind, that you have to know who you are. Why is that important? In interviews, more often than not, we don't want qualifications are important, but most not we want the person, we want the real you. When we're asking you to tell us about yourself, be you, know who you are. Are you short-tempered? You have to know that if you're short-tempered. Are you slow? Are you fast? Do you work well under supervision, or you don't like to be supervised? What kind of a person are you? Because you have to be as real as possible. Because what you are looking for a person who's going to be a team member, a person who's going to be given things to do. How do you respond when you're being told what to do? What kind of a person are you? So it's important to know yourself before you go to, because there'll be one question will piss you off. Some people in the interview ask you questions which are simply meant to just get a little bit into your personality and piss you off a little bit. So if you don't know who you are, you're going to just bust. So it's important to know, if you have a short temper, you have to prepare your mind. Okay, no matter what happens where I'm going for an interview, I'm not going to overreact. You prepare your mind for a question that may not be very much happy with you. But also, apart from that one, usually I see sometimes interviewers will ask you, and then they say, or after you tell them who you are. And now here's the issue. When we're asking you to tell me about yourself, as the person interviewing you, I have your CV, you have to remember that. I'm also looking at your CV at the same time. When you're telling me about your qualifications, what you've done, I'm looking at your CV. Have you seen? So when we ask you to tell us about who you are, you have to remember also what you've put on that CV. Now, here's the problem. Most people, they write a lot of information about the CV, about the duties they did, where the company they worked for, a whole list of duties. Credit controller, I did APCD. Those are irrelevant stuff. As an interviewer, I'm not interested in your duties for what you did the previous job. I don't care. All right? Of course, there'll be some duties that may be relevant to the job that I'm interviewing you for, that the person is interviewing you for. So that those duties, yes, you can talk about them a bit, but don't make it about duties. When we are looking at your CV, what we're looking for is your accomplishments. What have you accomplished in your previous assignment? So when we ask you a question, why should we hire you? You're not going to tell me about the duties. No, you're going to tell the interviewers about your accomplishments. No, when I worked for company ABC, I was able to achieve this and this. I was able to do this. So you are selling yourself commercially. You're not saying we should hire you because some people say because I'm a fast learner. No, nobody cares whether you're a fast learner. We can't prove that in a day, but we want something tangible, something that you can show that, okay, in my previous job, I was able to work as okay, we have a question. Nelson Mukuka says, what is it really that the interviewer is looking for when they ask you to say, why should we pick you over these applicants? A very beautiful question. Guys, I think you can ask me some questions to give me, I think I'll be responding to those ones as well for Mr. Kangwa to come through. So now here's the key question in the job interview. Why should we hire you? This is what I'm trying to get to. The interviewer asks you, hey Nelson, why should we hire you? I have asked this question several times myself. I've been a director before. I've worked on higher positions before, and I've interviewed people before. We ask somebody, why should we hire you? No, they don't know why you should hire them. Most of them don't know. When you are asked this question by your interviewer, why should we hire you, Nelson? It's a chance for you to just sell yourself. That is a golden ticket. You can't mess up this question, partly because it is this question that is going to help us even get to know what kind of person you are without you telling us. So number one, you have to remember, why should we hire you? Partly because you're qualified. That is why we are hiring. So you can tell the interviewer, you should hire me partly because I'm qualified. I have the needed qualifications for this job as described in the job description. I'm also experienced in this regard because this job description requires me to be able to do this task, and that task, which I am able to do. So when you're answering why should we hire you, it's important to have the job description in mind for the job you applied for. Because the job you applied for, they are looking for specific things you're going to be doing. They don't care about your previous duties. Nobody cares about that. What the interviewer cares about, are you able to deliver according to the job description? The job says you want to do A, B, C, D, should be able to do so and so. Tell them, number one, I'm qualified for this job. The qualification says you need a degree, I have a degree. The qualification says you need a master's degree, I have a master's degree. So I'm qualified for this job. But also the job description says that I should be able to do, for example, credit control, which I'm very much experienced. I've done this one before in my previous role. I was able to do this. I achieved this and that. So you talk about things that are going to qualify you based on the job description. So why should we hire you? We're not hiring you because you look handsome, no, or you look beautiful. No, we're hiring you because you can deliver. You are qualified. You've understood the job description. You can accomplish those tasks. You can do what the interviewer is asking you, what the job is requiring you to do. Then we should hire you because of those things we've talked about on the job description. So if students, candidates who don't read the job description, most of the time don't know what to answer, should we hire you? They don't know because they are stuck. Remember, you're a qualified professional. So remember, what are the qualifications in the job description? Talk about those qualifications. Talk about the duties. Are you able to do those duties? Have you done them before? What have you accomplished before? Have you seen? If there's something you don't know, it's okay. You can learn something, always. I hope we've answered that, Mr. Nelson. Why should we hire you? I'm qualified for this job. The job says I need a degree, which I have in this field. I also have a master's and other advantage. I've worked in a senior role in my previous company. I was able to accomplish this and this. I'm able to do this and this on the job description. So you talk about things you can do, actually do. All right, there's another question there. So what we have Mr. Sambo, I have had a challenge because of no experience in my field of study, finance and accounts, and sending in applications is my daily routine. So how can one get a job or even internship? I think that's a very good question. Usually, I'm going to tell you a short story of how I got my first job. That is a very good question there, Vanashalin. You know, usually jobs say 5 years experience, but we're a graduate. So, Mr. Kangwa, we have a question from Vanashalin. Are you able to see it on the screen? It says, how can you get a job without experience? So I'm not sure whether we can get back to where you left off from, or whether we can pick it up from here. Okay, I think Mr. Kangwa has just dropped, so I'm going to continue. So what we are looking at here, Shalin, when they ask you that they want 5 years experience, of course, a graduate, how do you get a job? Have you seen? Now, before I answer your question, I want to take you back to this question. You look at this question. Why should we hire you? Your experience, if you've worked before, becomes an advantage to why they should hire you. You're qualified. You're also experienced. You have this experience. So that's an added advantage. But let's get back to this one. How do you get an intern? How do you get a job or internship? Getting internship is very easy nowadays. Partly because you can walk into the office of the human resource and drop your application letter or tell them that you're looking for internship. Usually nowadays people are always advertising for positions on Go Zambia. In our setup, I have Mr. Kangwa coming through. All right, Mr. Kangwa, we are having a problem with the connectivity. I don't know if it's okay now.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm the only one who's having challenges with the internet. Yeah, I've seen one question though, but probably I've actually even missed a lot. Can I continue where I ended, or which question should I carry on?
Hello? All right, so you are talking about knowing who you are before you left.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You are talking about knowing who you are before you left. All right.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me, Mr. Lusambo?
Yes, we can hear you. All right. Okay. Maybe try and use a different network. Possibly, you may want to use a different connection. Is that okay? Please, Mr. Kangwa, you may want to try and change and use a different network, please, so that we. All right. So I'm just gonna do this. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to go with this question, and then we continue. So here we go. So how do you get an internship because you have no experience? You know, there are some companies, especially for you who is in finance. There are lots of audit firms in Zambia that are looking for interns. Of course, usually companies don't really advertise for interns. They don't advertise for that most of the times. Most of the times, you have to go through to the human resource, tell them you're looking for internship, and then you are willing to. All you want is to learn. Most companies are willing to give you a job because they know that they aren't going to be paying you that much. Some companies give you a small amount for being an intern. Some companies don't give you anything. So when you have no experience, that should not be a hindrance for you to apply for a job. I'll tell you what, when I got my first job, actually just as an expansion, I actually didn't apply for a job when I got my first job. I applied for internship. So when I went into that interview, I prepared very well, such that the director who interviewed me told me, you know, we've interviewed so many people who have experience, but you are just a student, but you've done quite very well in this interview. Can you work? Because we've decided to give you a job instead of giving somebody who says they have experience but they can't answer questions. So they asked me to go outside and write an application letter. So I went and wrote the application letter for the job, for the finance and admin officer. Then I submitted the same day and I was given a job. I went as an intern, but I was very prepared. I told the director who was interviewing that, no, actually I'm not experienced. I'm just from school. I'm a student. I have no knowledge. I've never worked before. So whatever I'm going to answer in this interview is purely what I've learned in school. But because I prepared so well, I was given a job the first time I applied for internship. And I became the finance officer the first day on my job. So it's important when you're an intern, you have no experience, just prepare very well, especially no financial reporting very well, because usually in finance, it's about financial reporting. So no financial reporting quite well. We want to help you. But also you can walk into the offices, drop application letters yourself. Don't usually when you send emails sometimes they don't get to see them. Sometimes go there physically and just give the HR your application letter. But also, you may want to make use of NGOs, because they have a platform where you can go to the website and then fill in your details and then tell them what you're looking for. You want to do internship with them. NGOs do that quite a lot, so they can allow you to join them. Whenever there's an opportunity, they'll be able to call you. So you may want to go to the office of the company, drop your details there. There are those boxes where you're supposed to fill your name, what you are qualified for, what you are looking for, then you can submit. If you have no experience, it's not a problem. You can tell them you're not experienced, even when you apply in that interview. Don't lie, because obviously tomorrow morning if they employ you, you're going to fail to work. So tell them you're willing to learn, you have no experience, and that should not be a problem. So getting internship should not be a problem. You have to walk into the office, drop the letter, talk to the person. I want to learn. I'm willing to even work for free. I just want to learn. Obviously, people will be willing to be able to assist. There's a question here which says, how do you answer a question about how much salary someone is expecting? Yes, that's a very good question. Now, this is where Mr. Lang was talking about. You have to know yourself. People are so scared of salaries. They can't negotiate for higher pays. They can't negotiate. Everybody is scared of this question. How much should we pay you? Somebody says, pay me according to company norms. Are you serious? Company norms? No. You have to know your worth as a person going for this interview. You have to know your worth. It's very important. And usually, in some companies, they're able to associate quality with the amount of money that comes out of your mouth. So before you go into that interview, find out how much this company pays for such a position. That is very important. You can ask somebody who works in that particular company how much they pay on that position, what has been their trend. For example, when I saw an opportunity from International School of Lusaka, I went to their website. I read a few things about them, how they employ. I read a few things, what are their side skills. You can do that. Go to the company website, read about them. But also, if there's no information, you can ask somebody who's working in that position. How much are they getting on average? What is the price on the market before you go for that interview? So that you have reasonable information about what salary should you be given. But I always advise people, it is always good to have a range. If you say, give me 5,000, if as a company we're prepared to give you 20,000, we will not give it to you. We'll simply give 5,000 because that's what you want. So we are going to sell 15,000 to ourselves. But if you give us a range, give a range, okay, according to prevailing market rates. You can you can pay between, I can accept anything between 10 to 15,000. A range. There's nothing wrong with giving a range. If you say give me 15,000, what if the company pays 5,000 or pays 10,000? That means automatically you're disqualified, partly because the company's budget is below what you're expecting. So give them a range. I can accept anything between 10 to 15. If the company's budget was 15, obviously they're going to give you a chance because they know you're within the range. But if you say, give me 20,000, and then their budget was 10,000, obviously, even if you are so good, they won't employ you. Partly because each company has got what they want to pay someone. So when it comes to salaries, really, it's important also to negotiate also based on your qualifications. Don't just say because somebody in a certain company gets 20,000, you also get 20,000. Look at things such as that. Of course, you are experienced, but be realistic. Of course, you are qualified. You have a degree, you have a master's degree, but that degree and the master's degree alone, they are not enough to give you a job. This is why we say we need experience. What makes you expensive is your experience. If I was in finance, what makes me expensive is my experience. It's not my master's degree, no. There are lots of people with master's degrees who have no experience, so they can't get the same money that I'm able to get because we're different. I'm experienced now. So also look at your experience. How valuable is your experience? So be realistic. So when you tell them your salary scale, they'll ask, but why should we pay 15,000? When from your previous company you're getting 9,000. How would you answer that? Because we ask those questions. Why should we pay 15,000 when you're getting 9,000 in your previous company? What would you say? Most people don't know how to answer that. They become blank. They forget that, no, when I started, I was not very much experienced, but now I've gained experience. Have you seen? I'm able to do this. I'm able to do A, B, C, D. Of course, sometimes there are situations where we plan to pay someone 10,000, but because of the way they have presented themselves, we end up giving them 15,000. It has happened. There's that allowance usually in those interviews. So how much should we pay you? I hope we have answered Mr. Joseph Belem. How do you answer the question? How much should you expect? Give them a range, but base it on your qualification, on experience, but also have the industry average. I hope that one has been answered. My network is bad. All right, your network is bad. Sorry about that. We have IK who says, "What exactly could be someone's response to someone's responsibility to a question whereby an interviewer asks you a question which says, what advice would you give to an underperforming colleague or workmate?" Yeah, you have to know who you are again. Takes back the same question. What advice would you give to an performing workmate? You see, the word advice is a verb. This is what we are always telling even our students, that this is a very important word. You don't just advise. If you're going to advise somebody, at least point out why you're advising them. So what advice would you give to underperforming workmate? It depends. First, before you advise, you have to find out why are they underperforming. What is the problem? Of course, identify what the underperforming team workmate is having a problem with. Identify that one, so you can, when you advise, you want to help them improve. So you can't advise me on what you don't know also. Have you seen? So it's important before you advise. Obviously, these questions are asked to see if you're a good team member, because sometimes some people are very bad teamwork. They don't like to be advised to do anything. They get pissed off. Some people are witnesses. If they are working with a less workmate, they become frustrated. They stop talking. So sometimes it's important to look at your workmate and see where is this person lacking. You see their weakness. Okay, this one is slow in this area. How can I advise them? Okay. You give them practical guidance on how they can improve themselves. All right. Yeah. So first of all, you have to also to identify your workmate's weakness and where they are lacking, and then you can advise them accordingly on professional grounds. Yeah. Obviously, I can ask them what are your challenges and things like that. But that depends. Thanks for the response. All right. Nelson Muka says, what is it really that the human resources look at when calling people for interviews? In the CV or the qualification? Is it the CV? Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, I would have loved Mr. Kangwa, because they were just to answer that one, but I'm also able to answer that one because I sit on interviews. So when we are interviewing, personally myself, when I'm looking for CVs, usually CVs, there are 10 CVs that if somebody is qualified, but you don't pick it because the CV is just dongoristic. So a well-presented CV gives you a chance of getting a job. Now, here's what I mean by a well-presented CV. Some people think when they get a list of CV, they get a lot of papers, and then they write a whole long list of duties. A CV should not stress me. You should understand that. When you're writing your CV, it should not stress me. No. Your CV should be simple and straightforward. So you should not just have one CV, because a CV is what is going to make me pick you and shortlist you. A CV is the document that's going to speak for you. You will not be there. So for you to be called, what will convince me to call you is your CV. So if your CV is going to stress me, it's very bulky, has a lot of data, obviously I'm not going to read that kind of a CV. I don't care. I'm going to look for a CV that is well presented, simple, straight to the point, and tailored to the job description. So before you send a CV, don't just send a CV that you send to all the companies. No, that is wrong. When you are going to send your CV to my company, first of all, you have to modify your CV to tailor it to the job description. Look at what are we looking for in this position. We need a marketing manager. What are the qualifications? We need obviously degree in marketing, whatever it is. We put blah 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 blah. Okay. So as you are writing your CV, you must be able to say, okay, this job I'm applying for, they're looking for a marketing manager. They need these qualifications, and these are the duties. So remove all those irrelevant stuff you've done when you've worked before. Throw them in the bin. We don't care about those. The only thing we're looking for are the things that are going to be relevant for the current position. So if your CV is bulky, a lot of pages, I'm just going to look at it and put in the bin. Because I don't want to be stressed reading your CV. So you have to have 4, 5, 6 CVs, depending on where you're applying. Understand the job description, then change your CV to suit the job description. If you're looking for a finance director, get your CV changed, put duties that are going to suit, put things that are going to suit the job description in the CV. You have to tailor it the job description. Don't just send your CV. The same CV you send for marketing manager, the same CV for finance director, the same CV for whatever position. You can't get a job like that because your CV is what is speaking for you. You are not there. So what is convincing me to call you is your CV. So make sure you tailor your CV according to the job description and the position you're applying for. That is very important. So have different kinds of CVs, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 CVs, depending on where you're applying. If it's an NGO, see what they look for. And then put the experience, what you achieved in your previous assignment that may help you in your new role. Very important. So when we say we need experience, it is not just any other experience. No, we need experience relevant to the current position. What did you achieve in your previous job that is relevant to the current position? You can talk about that. So I think we should just be short. We just want to know, of course, the qualifications are there. What have you achieved in relation to the current job that you are applying for? What have you achieved? What have you done? What experience do you have? Just short and simple. Should not be bulky, a lot of pages. No, I want to read it. Yeah, another question. Okay, thanks for the response. All right. So, Mr. Mukura, I hope we have answered that one. So it says, do you look for the, what do you look for? Is it the CV or the qualifications? Of course, the qualifications are contained in the CV. But a well-presented CV is more favored than a long CV. So both of you may be qualified. Of course, qualifications are important. If you send for me, if you're looking for somebody with a degree for the position, and then you have a diploma, automatically I'm not going to pick you, partly because you don't meet the criteria. So just get your CV diploma and put in the bin. Why? Partly because you're not qualified for the job. I'm not looking for a diploma. I'm looking for somebody with a degree. It is very rare that you're going to call a diploma holder to come and do an interview for a master's degree program. It's very rare. Because we have a lot of people who have degrees and master's degrees. So the first criteria, first of all, we say who is qualified. We say if you have a diploma, don't stand a chance. If you have a degree, then we're going to see what is it relevant to what we're looking for. So that is very important also. So don't just send hoping that they'll pick you. No. If they say they want a degree, already that one is a filter already. Anybody with a diploma out, you just want to pick people with degrees. And from those ones, then they see who has the things that are relevant to what you're looking for. So even if you have a degree, you want to be picked. If your duties that you've put there, you've not settled your series properly, we'll throw it in the bin. I hope we've answered that one, Mr. Nelson. We have Mr. Sylvester Mchinga who says, how do you answer when you are asked about your weakness? Very good. Very good question. Now, here's how we know this one is a crook and is not serious about life. Somebody says, no, my weakness is that I work hard. There's somebody told us that, and all of us just laughed. What is your weakness? No, my weakness is that I'm very optimistic. I trust people a lot, but they keep disappointing me. That's not a weakness. You have to understand that people who are interviewing you are not fools. They are human beings like you. When they ask you, tell us about your weakness, say the real weakness. Don't try to make a weakness look good. No. What is your weakness? You can say, I don't work well under pressure. That's a weakness because it's true. What's your weakness? Of course, like there was a question from Mr. Nelson. I don't know how to deal with a lazy workmate. I don't do well with a lazy workmate. What is your weakness? I don't like an over-criticizing boss. I don't do well with that. What is your weakness? I'm not good at public speaking, but I'm trying to work on it so that I see how I can improve. So talk about a real weakness. Don't say my weakness that I work hard. Some people say no. People say I'm workaholic. That's not a weakness. It's not a weakness at all. So don't try and turn something good into a weakness. No. The interviewers know that this is crap. You are lying to them. You'll be disqualified. So be honest. Know yourself. What are your weaknesses? It's okay to talk about your weaknesses. Of course, you don't want to say that you're a thief. Obviously, not that one. But know yourself. Talk about a real weakness that you are trying to work on so you can improve on it. I have a weakness in this regard, but I'm working on it, and say what you've done to improve on it. All right? I'm not good at public speaking, but of course, recently I took some training on public speaking. I'm trying to work on it. So it shows that you know your weakness, but also you are willing to improve on it. I hope we've answered that one. Victor says, how do you answer questions like what are your weaknesses? Okay, I think we've answered that one. The same from Kangwa Nshindano says, is there any specific format to write a CV? Yes. There are some certain formats, for example, for NGOs I've seen. NGOs have a certain way of asking for details. They don't teach you a CV. They give you a tabular. They want them in tabular format. So if you are applying for an NGO, usually it's a good idea to send your CV in a tabular format because they don't want a lot of unnecessary information. No, they want a tabular format is good partly because it puts of course your name, it puts your qualifications, it puts your relevant skills to the current job. It also puts your experience that relates to the current position that has been advertised. So it's very easy to follow through. Don't bring a whole list of duties, no. Yeah, but of course there are different types of CVs, but it's important to tailor it to the job description. Very important. Okay, Nelson says, Nelson Singer says the CV should be tailored to the job description. Interesting, yes, very interesting. Don't just send a CV to anybody. Let's say I'm an electrician. I'm applying for an accountant's position. I can't put electrical stuff in that CV. It won't make any sense to the interviewer. They won't pick me. So put things that are relevant to the position in the CV. You can be changing every time you're applying, change. So you keep applying several times before speaking it because the CV is not just making sense. Nelson says, honestly, I have learned a lot. Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear that. What is Michael Mansa Chanda Jr. says, is it true that if you are overqualified for the job applied, the organization might be intimidated and refuse to hire you? Is it true? Of course, there has been a lot of myths about this topic. Some people say when you're overqualified, you can't be picked. I will tell you my personal story. I applied for a job, and the human resource called me personally, and she told me that Shadrick, we are able to give this position, but because you're overqualified, all we want is somebody with a certificate. We don't want a master's degree. So, what makes people say you're overqualified for the job is because you did not understand the job description already. What are they looking for on the qualifications? Let's say I have a master's degree, and I also have a degree, and I have a certificate. Then they want somebody with a degree, all right? They want somebody with a degree. If I put that I have a degree and I have a master's degree, that will not disqualify me, no. It will not. A master's degree is simply an additional advantage. It won't disqualify you for a job that requires a degree. Of course, some people say, no, hide your degree. Yes, you can hide it if you like, but I can assure you, personally, with the panel I've been sitting on with, we've employed somebody who has a degree and a master's degree for a degree position. We consider a master's degree as an additional advantage. Not that you're going to say you're overqualified, no. You can be overqualified if you're looking for a certificate and then you bring a master's degree. Then there's a big gap. We can say, okay, fine, I think for now, we just want somebody with what? With a certificate. But because the salary scale is for somebody with a certificate, not for a master's degree. Yeah. So those are some of the myths that people have, partly because of not understanding the job description. They say, no, they told me I was overqualified. No, for me, I was told I was overqualified because the job, they wanted somebody with a certificate. Then I applied when I had something higher than certificate. And the HR told me, no, I think for you, Shadrick, next time you can try on a different position, not this one. Yeah, those kind of things may happen. Nelson Mukula says, honestly, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear that. Is it true that if you're overqualified for the job applied for? Okay. I think I hope we've answered that question. Shalin says, kindly highlight on scenario events asked during interviews. Yes, now here's the issue. In the interview, this is the other problem people make. Your CV is what is speaking. When I pick you to when the interviewers pick you to come for an interview, they are picking you because of what you put on your CV, something relevant to the kind of position. Now, some people say I have good communication skills. They talk about proficient Excel skills. They talk about search per scale. They talk about all these kind of applications which they can't even know how to operate. If you are not good at Excel, it's okay. All right? You will not lose an opportunity simply because you're not good at Excel. Unless it's an emergency. But in most cases, companies are willing to train you. Be honest enough on your CV. If you lie on your CV, we employed a guy who told us, he had a degree, quite all right. And this guy was very much was okay when he came for interviews. He spoke so well, but later on we discovered actually what he said on the CV is able to do is not able to do. So we kicked him out. So you can be kicked out for merely lying on your CV because there's what you call reference work. As a finance expert, I will not do the reference. Of course, that will be the job for the human resource. They're the ones that are going to check on you. When they ask me about your qualifications, you presented your degree. They've also even called the board where you affiliated. If you're an accountant, obviously they've even confirmed with Zika to see if you're a member in good standing. They've also called your former employer already. So you are lying, they know information about you. Don't lie in the interview. Serious companies always do reference work. They do cross reference on you and on your CV, what you said on your CV. Were these your actual duties where you worked from? So if you lie, you're able to do this, we give you a job. There's somebody who gave a job, we asked to do a simple Excel modeling. This man said he's a director and he's worked for so many companies, he couldn't do it. But because he put something on the CV which is not good at, which is not good. So he lost the opportunity because he lied, he gave false information on the CV. So it's okay, if you don't know something, it's okay, just go and learn it. Don't put on your CV to disqualify you. Yeah. Are there any more questions? Do you have some questions? Okay, I can bring some questions. It's unfortunate Mr. Kangwa has been able to join us, partly because where he is in his location, there is a problem with the network. Yeah. But again, let me just also tell you something that we usually tell people when they come for interviews. Sometimes we ask them why are you leaving your previous job? Why do you want to leave? And people don't know how to answer that. You know, when you're asked why are you leaving your previous job, what do you tell the interviewer? Why are you leaving? Have you thought about that, guys? Can I just say somebody tell me what you would say in the comment? Why are you leaving? Most people don't know how to answer that. Why are you leaving? When your interviewer asks you why are you leaving, what do you think you can say? Let me see some comments. What do you think you can say, guys? That's a very important question. Why are you leaving? Partly because as an employer, employers don't want to employ a problem. Have you seen? They don't want to employ a problem. They want somebody who has a good standing. Obviously, if you store where you're coming from, they don't want to give you a job. Partly because you store where you're coming from. Have you seen? So when they ask you why are you leaving, what do you say? If for example, why you left, there was no problem, you have to think about two things. Why do you want to leave your current position? Have you seen? Okay, there's a comment here. It says, I would say I'm looking for an organization that will give me a platform for career development. All right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, for career development. Okay, that's fair enough. Somebody says, I want something challenging. All right. Francis Banner said, I want something challenging. Okay. Yeah. So also it's important to also know before you answer, how do you feel about your answer? It's very important. How do you feel about your answer? But also when you're answering in the scenario, in the okay, somebody says, Nelson says, I feel like it's about opportunities and learning. I feel in my current position, I've done what is to be done, and needs a new challenge and broaden my understanding. All right, Nelson. So have you seen? I like this comment, partly because what Francis says. Francis says, I want something challenging. Look at what Nelson says. Nelson says, I feel that I've done enough with my current role, and I feel there's need for me to take up a new challenge. They are saying the same thing. The only difference that Nelson has made it more better than Francis. If you say, I want something challenging, you make it look like where you are, there's nothing interesting going on. And employers don't want to feel like you are an ungrateful person. You know? They are saying the same thing, on that Nelson has said better than Francis, but the message is the same. All right? Of course, you may even want to tell the employer the change is necessary for growth, like what Nelson is saying. I think if, for example, you're working in an NGO, or you're working in the government or in the private sector, you can say, no, I think I've done much of what? I've done much of private sector work. It's time I took up, public sector kind of work, so that I can also have experience in this other. So you can say something about you've done this. Like Mr. Nelson is saying, I've been in public sector for too long. I've gained enough experience, and I'll have to do what also gain experience in the private sector. That's okay. You can say you've done what you've done in your current role, you've achieved much, and you'd like to take up a new challenge. That's okay. You can say, of course, change is necessary for growth. You've done what you've done, and now you feel it's time to take up new opportunities. But again, what if you are fired? What do you say? So you say, Mr. Francis, what you are saying is true. Only that we don't want to make it to keep it blunt. We want to make it to give it some flesh so that it can carry weight. Have you seen that? Like Mr. Nelson is saying, he feels it's about time he took up a new challenge because the achievement was what is it? It's not bad to leave. It's okay to leave. All of us leave. All of us need change. The employers know that change is necessary for growth. They know that. They just want to hear your vision. So don't make it complicated for yourself. No. All right? Make it simple. No, I've got this experience. I've learned enough. I've got an ability. I also like to take up new change so I can also learn this other. It's okay to say that. It's not bad. But what if you are fired? What do you say? How would you tell your employer when you are fired, your job was terminated where you worked? What do you say? Most people hide. See, they say something else. Of course, if the employer is just about giving a job, they are going to call your previous employer to ask them why you are leaving. So don't lie. You see, so it's always okay to say that of course I'm leaving my previous company partly because of irreconcilable what differences, which I'm willing to share if there'll be an opportunity for you to want to know more. Have you seen? Of course, in some companies, what happens when they're interviewing you? There are phases. There's phase 1, there's phase 2, and then there's phase 3. So obviously, you don't want to discuss everything on phase 1 if you are fired. You can tell them, okay, we are irreconcilable differences, which I would be happy to share if I was picked to go to the next phase. Have you seen? So if the people are assessed about picking you, they're going to pick you, and then that would be a talking point next time when they call for the second interview. Why? What was happening? You can be able to share because now you know they are interested in you. They want to give you a job. Yeah. So you have to know the company. How do they interview? Do they just give you a one-off interview, or they do it in phases? So that you know also how to answer. Get information about the company before you go for that interview. So let's go to Nelson Sinkalo says, if one is fired, I think it's good to be honest, since you mentioned some companies do a reference check. Yes, it's very good to be honest. The companies are going to do a reference check, and then they'll find out information about you. You don't want to be found wanting. Yeah, but you can tell them that no, we are there irreconcilable differences, which I would be willing to share if I was picked to go to the next what? The next stage. It's very important. So the employer will know, okay, fine. There were some differences, But if we give him a chance, Julius is going to test in the next what? The next phase. You can say that. So don't lie about it. It's okay. People get fired every day. It's okay to be fired. All right? Yeah. Any other question before we go? We are now above our time. It's exactly what we plan to spend. It's unfortunate Mr. Kangwa has not been able to join us, partly because of his network. Any question, guys? Any more questions before we call it a night? I really hope that we have tackled a few points that can help somebody. Like I said, I'm an accountant. This presentation was supposed to be done with a human resource practitioner, Mr. Kangwa Nshindano. Unfortunately, the network has been bad, so I've taken it up to avoid, disappointing our loving and supportive viewers. So, partly because I also attend interviews, so I know some of the things that we look for when interviewing somebody. Is there anybody with a question, guys, before I go? Anybody? Anything else that anybody would like to ask? Okay, Victoria says, what if you just left the company out of frustration in the company? Something related to constructive dismissal. Like this is what we are saying. Huh? You can say there were some irreconcilable what differences which I would like to which I would be willing to share if I was given a chance to do what to go to the next phase. Well, or which I would like if there will be no next phase, we can tell them there were some irreconcilable differences which I'm willing to share if I would give an opportunity to work for you. So if they want to work for you, then you can do that. Yeah. But again, just before you go, I think I was asked a question in my first ever interview. Do you have any questions? Some people, when you ask them, do you have any questions? They say, no, thank you, I have no questions. Okay? Do you have any questions? What do you say? Some people say, no, thank you, I have no questions. No. Be yourself in that interview. It's not a court session. It is a point where I want to get to know you because you're going to be our colleague, you're going to be our friend. Feel free to talk to us. Do you have a question? No thanks. No, why no thanks? You should have something. I'm not saying it's a must to ask something, but it is always a good idea to have something. For example, if you didn't understand something in the interviews and you answered it wrongly, have you seen? This is the chance now to redeem yourself. You can tell them, okay, fine, I don't have any question, but I'd like to find out when you asked me to tell you about this, did you mean this? For me, I answered in this way, partly because my understanding was that you meant this. Is that what you meant? It is a chance for you to redeem yourself. If you feel there's something you said that you did not say very well, now towards the end they said, do you have any questions? You can use that opportunity to redeem yourself. Now, when you asked me this question, I said so and so, partly because my understanding was that maybe you are meaning this. Did you mean this? So that the interviewer can now elaborate more. Okay, but also it is also it also gives us a good impression if you say when they expect to hear from you. All right, you can ask your employers when can I expect to hear from you, but also you can ask them, would you be able to give me feedback whether you pick me or not? I would be grateful if you give me some feedback. It's important because what we're looking for is seeing a person who is not just looking for a job, but a person who is also willing to learn. Have you seen when you say, please give me some feedback, whether I make it or not, I'll be happy to see some feedback so that I can see where I need to improve. That would be nice. We see somebody who knows, okay, fine, I not get a job, who has a realistic mindset, and they're willing to learn. It's important to do that. Do you have any questions? No, thanks. No, don't do that. Think about how the interview was. Was there something you feel in your heart you did not answer properly? Redeem yourself. All right? Yeah. So Francis says, how do you handle a question? What is your expected salary? I think we've talked about that one earlier, about your salary. Give them a range according to qualifications and also according to industry average, but also find out information about the company, how they pay. I think we talked about that one earlier. You must have come a bit late. Nelson Mukuka says, how can I successfully contribute to the growth of the company And what opportunities do you provide for your employees? And how do you get the best out of your employees? These are the questions I ask. How can I successfully contribute? Now, the first part of the question is not very much nice. When you ask, how can I successfully contribute to the growth of the company? Number one, you are telling me that you don't understand your job description. When you say, how can I contribute? Partly because you don't know what you're coming here to do. If you know why should we hire you? We are hiring you partly because of what you're going to bring to our company, based on what you've understood on the job description also. So if you tell me, you ask me, how can I contribute to growth? I'm getting the impression that you don't understand what you're applying for. Because you should know how you can contribute to the growth of the business. Know the company, know what you're looking for, know how we're employing you so that you can contribute something. That's very important. Then the next one says, and what opportunities do you provide for your employees? And how do you get? So when you say what opportunities, so also be specific. You don't want to make the employers feel like you're bothering them, Be specific. When you say what opportunities do you provide, what kind of opportunities are you talking about? Are you talking about career development? Are you talking about training? What is it that you're talking about? Are you talking about share-based payment, share options? What opportunities are those? So be specific also when you're asking about what opportunities. Be very specific. So it's important to know about the company, know their projects, also know their corporate social responsibility. Read their corporate social report so that you see what they do, what they value the most, what is their aim, what is their vision, what is their, so you see their mission. That can help you to see what is important to the employer. Knowing their vision, their vision, their mission, their goals will give you an idea of what they value the most. Read about the company. Read. It's always good to have a good reading culture before you go for the interview. Read about the company, get information, know more, so that you are well prepared. And then you say, finally, and how do you get the best out of your employees? These are the questions. Again, how do you get the best? I think these are not very much good questions, Nelson. They are not very much good questions. Yeah, they're not very much good questions to ask your employer. All right. Use that opportunity on what do you have any questions to redeem yourself. Think about something you did not say well. You can use that one. If you feel everything was fantastic, ask them when can I expect to hear from you, such kind of stuff. Okay. Also, if you know they have a project going on, ask them how they intend on achieving that objective. You can, don't make it about yourself so much. Yeah. All right, guys. I want to say thank you so very much. I hope this session has been helpful. Like I said, we were expecting to be. Okay, there's a question. Okay, let's see. Since we are under 2 minutes, is it okay to ask about the salary if the chance of ask a question is presented? That is, if it was not addressed by the panel. It is very much unlikely that you can go for an interview and then the panel don't talk about the salary. I've never seen such kind of. Actually, if you are being interviewed and no one talks about the salary, don't get that job. Because the reason why you're leaving where you are to go to the next place, part of it could be maybe because of the salary. Of course, yeah. Also, sometimes because of the incentives that they offer. For example, like Mr. Nelson says, what opportunities do you offer? It's a bit general, but it's a good question because sometimes companies will offer you half of your school fees. They pay for you. Some companies do that. Some companies give certain incentives. They can tell you. But I think it's good to be specific, Mr. Nelson. So let's go to Mr. Sinka. Nelson Sinka says, is it okay to ask about this? Yes, you can ask. If it wasn't addressed, you want to know the salary that you're going to be getting, obviously. If no one talks about the salary, you can't just have an interview not knowing how much you're going to be getting. No, find out. It's okay. No, when you're negotiating for salary, don't take it like the company is doing you a favor. No. Number one, know that you're qualified. That is why they want to employ you. So you are not cheap. All right? But also you're not over expensive. Be realistic. All right? The company is not doing you a favor. They are employing you because they're going to be working for them. It's not for free. So negotiate for a reasonable salary. Most people with low self-esteem don't negotiate for higher salaries. They accept anything that looks like money. Now that's a put off in most cases. The employer will think, we will have 5 penny. I think it didn't know what he needs to be doing this one. Let's leave him out. They kick you out because of you are looking for a very lower pay. And then they just surprise, no. Yeah, so we are running out of time, guys. I wish we could continue, and I hope that under normal circumstances we'll bring Mr. Kangwa back. All right. There's another question before you go. At what point can one turn down a job, and what factors should be called? Yes, very good. Some people don't know how to turn down the job. Sometimes you may be interviewed for a position when there's another position also. You can tell them, I'm sorry, the time you gave me an interview, I also received a different offer from somewhere. It's okay. All right. You don't want to turn it down in a way that will make it difficult for you to go back next time. Turn down a job in a good research, even if there's an opportunity next time you can go back. For example, if the job you are going to look for, you have to weigh the what you call opportunity cost. Do a cost benefit analysis. If you see that the job is not the job where you're going to go, maybe what you're looking for, first of all, before you turn it down. Are you looking for a higher salary, or are you looking for career development, for experience? Because some companies pay you very well, but you don't learn anything. I worked in a company, one of the government practitioners, where if you are an accountant, for example, they're going to give you something called a receivable management. You just be doing with receivables the whole year. No rotation whatsoever. If you are going to be into credit control, between credit control the whole year, 5 years, no rotation whatsoever. So such kind of jobs are not very much nice. Partly because you're not growing, you're not knowing anything. They are paying you well, but you're not learning. So you have to ask yourself a question before you get a job. Why do you want this new job? Is it for money or for experience? It's important. So if you're looking for money, obviously you can turn it down based on the fact that maybe somebody else gave a better offer. The employer may ask you if we give you a bigger offer, will you be willing to accept? Then you can say yes if you want to accept. But if you're looking for experience, you look at the job description. I think that the best way to turn it down, just tell them that while you're doing the interview with them, you also receive the offer from somewhere, and you are sorry that you're not going to pick the offer. You can do that, right? But the one who knows it's you know what you're looking for. Is it money or is it experience? You see, experience was not so much, not so much. No, I can't take it up. Money is there, but no experience. Okay, it's up to you. What are you looking for? All right, this one says, thank you very much. I have learned so much. Thank you so much also, guys, for staying with me all this time. I really appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm not a human resource practitioner. I'm a chartered accountant, but I understand these things in the interview because I also sit there. I hope that Mr. Kangwa was able or would have stayed with us, which didn't happen. I hope next time he stays so I think we can learn more from him. I hope I've served you well. I hope I've served you well. What I've been able to share with you is what I see in the interview and interviewing people. All right, but I would have loved it to come from the actual expert, the human resource expert. Yeah, I want to be clear about that. But what I've told you is what we see in interviews. I interview people quite often. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. I want to thank you so much. If there's somebody you care about, if by any means you feel this session has been helpful to you, I'm kindly asking if you can hit the button right now to share, please. If by any means we've discussed something in this session that you feel is of value, I'm kindly asking that please share to somebody you care about, or share to some group or something like that, please. Can you do that? And have a lovely night, guys. Have a very good night. Thank you so much. We hope to bring more topics like this so that we can learn more. It is important for our financial freedom. Knowing certain things is important. Yeah. A job could be a starting point to your financial freedom more often than not. So please, guys, if by any means you feel this session has been helpful, please share the video. Please share the video. Thank you so very much. Can I say good night? Can I say bye? All right. All right. Hope watch it when you are done. My Chinese phone has performed. Failed to follow. All right. Okay, President says thanks. Thank you so much, guys. Can I go? Please share the video. Thank you so much. Have a lovely night, guys. Thank you so much. Can I go? I think I can go, right? Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.